one of us is entitled to. And here on these islands, Honolulu Habitat has helped house more than 450 families since 1988. As you well know, there are a bunch of ways to give. You can put some cash in the calabash. You can scan the QR code on the screen or on the bottom of the reverse of your order of service. You can also text the number on the bottom of the reverse of your order of service or up there on the screen. It's an encrypted form of giving that allows you to give to our monthly Share the Plate, our February Share the Plate. It allows you to pay your pledge or to just give more generally to the Church Emergency Fund. Because we accept most of our income in rentals and pledges that people give, we can be generous, and you can make sure that your donation to this organization gets there 100%. So I invite you to be generous this Sunday. I invite you to think of the stories we have heard so far and how we tell the story going forward. The offering will now be freely given and gratefully received. Your gifts help sustain the ministry of this congregation as we build the beloved community within these walls and without. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your storytelling. Thank you for continuing our legacy of boldly growing compassion, justice, and joy. Well, you know, the story goes, there is a theme for Black History Month every single year. The theme for this year is African Americans and labor. Now, you'll notice that I often use Black American or Black instead of African American, and that is a very intentional reason. Not all of us are directly from Africa any longer. And being of African descent and a hyphenated American and the Black American experience are sometimes different. For many people, they are interchangeable, but I like to talk about the Black American experience because whether we come from the islands, more recently directly from the continent where all life began, or maybe even just from around the world after many, many long turns of getting here some way and some form, it's important to know that in America, in these Hawaiian islands, the Black experience is very similar wherever you go. Story goes, according to a 2021 study, the Black maternal mortality rate is still 2.5 times greater than that of white women. That means that at any given time, any pregnant Black woman is more than 2.5 times likely to die during childbirth in one of the wealthiest nations in the entire world. No other nation really has a maternal mortality rate as high as the United States in general, and certainly not for a marginalized group like Black women and Black femmes and others who are capable of bringing life into the world and are also Black. Well, the story goes, in that same study, Black households earn a third less than the median for white households here on these islands and all around the nation. Well, the story goes, how are we supposed to make the ends meet with less money for the same work? I know, I hope, and I pray as I make Black history, as the groups that I work with here on these islands continue to make Black history every day, that we can start telling a new story. The story of Black Americans and labor, the story of Black futures, of Hawaii Pōpolo, is within reach. Black people, we come and we come and we come, and the story goes, we come here because here we can be recognized as aunties and uncles with no one second guessing our credentials. The story goes, we come here because our shoulders can relax. Because in a place that is majority Black, Indigenous, and people of color, it's a beautiful place to live in. The story goes, some of us were born here. Some of us have been here for decades and centuries at this point. The story of Black people in Hawaii goes back more than 200 years, predating the end of our enslavement on the continent and continuing now in a time when there's still anti-Blackness by the police here and sometimes in our schools. The story goes, the way that we carve out a future for Black futures together, the way that we make sure that Blackness continues to be important to the very foundation of Hawaiian identity, it always has been in our contemporary context. And as we well know from the story, how's it go? We well know that we never started counting who was racialized in which ways until the Americans showed up in the first place. We don't know all the groups of people who got here before the Europeans did and started saying, no. This is Hawaiian and this is not. This is Asian and this is not. This is Portuguese because it suits us and this is not Black. The story goes, Black people will continue to come and to come and to come to this place, and we expect Hawaii to live up to its promise, to center us in this racist society as we learn the ways of this island, as we learn Aina-based ways of living, as we learn the Olelo No'eau, as we learn the stories of these people, which connect with the stories of our people, which reach way back into the very origins of story itself. The story goes, it's not yet over, and it takes everyone to tell the tale that we are going to tell in the future. The story is being written right now. The story we will tell generations we will never know cannot be the same story that we have told up until now. We must refuse. We must refuse a story that makes Black people second, third, or sometimes non-existent citizens in this place. We must reject a story that does not center Blackness in Native Hawaiian identity. We must reject a story that does not see Keakua in the very tales of the trickster gods and goddesses and origin stories of the African continent. We must, we will, and we can tell a different story here on these islands for a Black future. Because you know, as the story goes, all stories are true, and some also tell the truth. Well, I think y'all are ready to sing. And we're going to remember in this story, the story that we told together, that it is an enduring tale of letting no one turn us around. I've added a lyric. You will know which one it is when we get there. When you figure it out, sing it louder. All right, we ready to sing? All right, seated or standing for our hymn of reflection, Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Round. Let's sing it together. Let's sing it loud. Let's tell this story together. We are cooking lunch right now, so we're going to wait just a moment to get those alarms under control. It's all right. There's always time to sing. So let's just take a moment, maybe hum to yourself. Wonderful. Lunch is fire, Kenna. Yes. All right, let's start again with this lyric. Noe, give us one more lead in, and we're going to sing some more. Lunch is still fire. I know that we cannot wait to eat it because it impatiently awaits us. It has come time for us to extinguish our chalice. I will begin, and then we will extinguish with words together. We are never complete. We are never finished. We are always yet to be. May we always allow others to be and help and enable others to grow towards all that we are capable of becoming. Beloveds, go forth from this place blessed. Let no one turn you around in the quest to tell a story that spans generation. The story of Hawaii, the story of Black Hawaiians, the story that keeps the most vulnerable at the center. Go forth from this place blessed to be part of a story that began before us and continues long after our very last breath. Go forth from this place blessed to nourish our souls and our bodies, because it impatiently awaits a world that we will story into existence. Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. All right, so I'm going to make these announcements quick then. Obviously, there is lunch. There is lunch for you right after the service. Once again, please go directly through the double doors. If you are someone who likes to jet right over to get some coffee, we ask that you go all the way back into the kitchen so that you can make a line to get your baked potato and some salad. Obviously, you do not want potato or salad and still go that way, but we want to keep things moving that way. So you have some more?
There's also chicken, baked chicken.
Oh yes, there is baked chicken. Yes, so we've got proteins, we've got starches, we've got salads and veggies. It's going to be a grand time. As always, UU History 101 is right after the service this week, so you get your lunch first. We won't start until 11:30. Also, when our action planning and search teams will be meeting. I think y'all will be upstairs in room 2. All right, you will figure out where you are going to be, so long as I have a celebration reaction on the Zoom screen. I love it. Here for it. Thank you, Ian. So make sure that those of you who are on the action planning team and search teams huddle together and figure out where you can best get the signal that you need to have. I also have an announcement from Nancy, who reminds me that next Friday evening, chanting has been changed to dinner and song circle. So please bring some instruments at 6 p.m. here in the sanctuary and also in the gallery. We will not be having chanting. We will be having dinner and song circle. And we'll also put that in the newsletter, which goes out on Wednesday. And finally, I hope that you will gather with me on Wednesday, February 27th, for a training about how to deal with the encroachment of our rights as a place of worship, as we have to deal with immigration and customs enforcement potentially having access to our sanctuary. There is a training at 5:30 p.m. at St. Teresa's. This information will also go out in the newsletter. That is Wednesday, February 27th at 5:30 p.m. at St. Teresa's Episcopal. All right. All right, I will correct the day and or date when I have something in front of me. Are you ready to sing again? Yeah. All right. Before we sing our song of peace, please make sure that you ask someone before you take their hands. Now, seated or standing, please lift your voices in song for hymn number 368. Oh, you're already getting there. Awesome. Number 368. Now let us sing. 2 parts on this.